Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
We're so pleased to have on Zach and Maggie, incredible musicians. You know, I don't know if you throw them into Americana music, folk, pop, bluegrass, maybe all of it, but they've got a great new album. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
You know, I heard the single before I listened to the full album, and The Elephant in the Room, and at that point I knew I had to have you both on the show.
Well, I'm glad you finally talked to the elephant in the room. Most people are unwilling to mention him, let alone say, let's have an interview.
And I've been in so many rooms where there was an elephant there and no one would say anything. It's like, there's no elephant, Eric. Look away. But, you know, I'm talking to you guys before we came in studio even, the lyrics and the music are just so great. And you kind of get, you know, sucked into the stories. How did you both come up with this on the music for this great album?
Well, a lot of the song, like I've been always inspired by the guys that write those quirky story songs.
Right.
So Randy Newman has always been like one of my all-time favorites. But we come from this kind of bluegrass Irish music roots background. I just thought, well, let's just blend it all together. We were talking earlier about cooking and whatnot. And making albums to me is just like cooking a big dinner. You have your different ingredients and finding those pairings that are unique or fun. So, you know, one of the things we really try in the songwriting is to create a lot of layers. They're very approachable songs, real fun, obviously, but the digger you deep, I think the more people find. And a lot of our fans keep coming, it's been a couple weeks since the album came out, and they just keep finding new things. They're like, holy, what is this? And what's that reference? And I didn't realize that was an actual TV show that you were referencing in Bring a Banana and all this stuff, yeah.
Well, you know, the funny thing was when I first got the single, I thought, well, obviously, you know, this couple, you know, and you're both married and everything. I thought, well, they're doing a kids album.
Oh, yeah.
And then I listened to it, it's like, oh, no, it's not a kids album.
we did win the John Lennon Songwriting Award for Kids Music with that song, but yeah, at the end of the day, we call it whole family music.
Yes.
Because both the parents and the kids enjoy it.
You know, it reminds me too, Zach, of like, you know, the cartoons we all grew up with, to where kids could watch them and get one thing, and then adults are going, oh, wait a minute, I get that double entendre.
Yeah.
And the same thing with your songs.
That's how I write instrumentals, is I turn on old cartoons, turn the volume down, and I just work on tunes. So.
How incredible. Right, and you know, you're doing the violin work and everything, and the fiddle, and it's like all the instruments in here sound so great.
Thanks.
And you guys had a great producer also that you worked with.
Oh, Seth Ernest is just an amazing guy. He's actually done a lot more in the pop world and the rock side. But he and we met on a gig just playing for another country artist, and we just realized, you know, the Venn diagram of our musical tastes were so funnily different, but where they matched, they were perfectly aligned.
Wow.
And he just feels like a brother, so it was wonderful. He helped distill some of the kookiness that happens up here and the perfectionism that happens here, and he helped us craft something truly amazing.
What a perfect pairing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, when you put them together, ta-da!
There you go. Oh, you know, you've always referred to the album as salty sweet. Going back to food, just like that.
Yeah, how amazing. Well, and also you guys recorded this at the farmhouse, right?
Yeah, good buddy Caleb Fisher, sorry, was a studio engineer there. But really, we were searching for a place that felt like a clubhouse. Kind of a lot of the musicians we had were from, you know, a generation or two above us, but they were literally people we grew up listening to. So it was so much fun. It was these like rainy days in the studio. It literally felt like we were just, you know, buddies hanging out in the clubhouse and having a blast.
Well, you know, and both of you have played in so many different bands over the years and met at Belmont while you were both attending. But it's like, how did you bring in the other musicians to back up? Because it's like, once again, with these the great lyrics, I feel like each song is like a short story. You know, especially when you give it your full attention. You know, but it's like, but the musicianship is so great. And like you said, you know, you've got the Celtic style, you got some bluegrass, you got some pop. It's like, you know, all these songs are so different in one bundle of an album.
It's, you know, I don't know. It's kind of, you kind of have to trust your heart as you go along. There was definitely some common themes that we would think about. The short story was very intentional. We love short story songs. You know, the cartoon thing we referenced, it was actually kind of an inspiration. We talked really early on about the way like Pink Panther cartoons and these older style cartoons would do these short little vignettes throughout their 30 minutes or 20 minutes. So we thought, you know, that kind of fits in an album too, because we hear stories and we apply our own life and emotions to those stories. So a lot of artists write about their own story and we read into that. So I thought, well, it's really fun to create really more fantastical stories, something a little bit more adventurous, or an altered history story, like Bring a Banana is one of those.
Which I love.
Yeah,
Which I love. And there's so many great, it's like, and listening to the album in its entirety, I really thought that it would lend itself to like an illustrated book. And we were talking about, your mom being involved also as a doodler and as an artist.
Yeah.
And you involved her in a song as well.
We had this really quick random Christmas song called Broken Pageant Play, and it's a real silly little number, but I got my mom to do the cover art for it, and it's just delightful.
Well, yeah, because, Maggie was not going to step in on the art, right?
No, I can't draw. I can't draw anything.
But what you do with the fiddle and everything and your vocals, and I think that's the other thing I enjoyed too with the album was that, your vocals are so dynamically different that it makes it a fun listen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. It's just, it's very, both your voices are very strong and also you're very strong musicians too. And you got a lot of friends. In your spare time, you guys play in the Gettys.
Yeah. That's kind of the main gig, as we call it, we've had for a long time. You can tell how we started with them.
Yeah, so let's see, I've been with them for 10 years and you're almost at 9, I think. Wow. But yeah, I started with them my last year at Belmont. They needed somebody to play fiddle. Their current fiddle player was expecting, and so they brought me on to do that tour.
Right.
And then they kept me on after that, which was great.
Obviously.
And they're just a delight to play with. And then Zach also getting to be on the road.
I weaseled my way in after a year or so.
I know the fiddle player.
Yeah, exactly. I got an in. You only need one hotel room because we're married.
Hey,
Yeah.
you see? It's a bargain.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how I sold it on.
But yeah, it's so much fun to just be able to tour together and not have to be split up all the time. So.
Well, and also, having that, with the Gettys, as your main gig, but then doing this, being able to have the musical outlet, as a couple, and really be able to express yourself. And now the cooking show. Yeah, it's like, I feel like, but wait, there's more.
Right. Well, we just like to create. I mean, it's sort of, it is.
That's kind of also what we do on the road is like, our suitcase is packed, so we eat instead of buy trinkets. It's like, well, you can try new foods wherever you're at,
So we love cooking. We figure we'll cook through the album. So we've been cooking our way through the album, taking recipes that we either have created or found or imitate and trying to relate them there. So we figure we're going to cook our way through the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Right.
One bite at a time.
Right, but no elephant will actually be harmed.
No. Elephant ears maybe, but not.
So far we have the Caesar said to Brutus salad.
Right.
And then the
Happy goat hummus.
yes,
Yeah,
and the goat is happy because we used pork instead of
I love that, but I mean, just like on all the songs too, it's like, you're listening and you're thinking, wow, this is funny, but also there's depth.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice, salty and sweet thing to where it's like that combination.
Right.
But so where can viewers see, the cooking videos?
Well, we try to stay really active on our social media pages, YouTube and Instagram. If you look up Zach and Maggie Music, you can pretty much find us online pretty easily. We've got TikToks, we've got all those kind of things. We just try to make sure they're all getting pushed out. YouTube and Instagram are usually our best.
So what about the cookbook?
Well,
in your spare time, in between touring with the Gettys, in between, Zach and Maggie, and doing videos on cooking and...
We want to create how to cook an elephant in the room. We're going to take all these recipes and put them into a book. So look for that soon. We had the idea on the way over here, so we'll see how well it comes out. But
well, once again, when you're traveling, between the different, it's like, what are you going to do?
exactly.
Take a computer,
right.
do some writing, do some cooking.
And these are tried and true recipes. Almost all of these, we have them for dinner most of the time. Actually, the Happy Goat hummus we had for dinner last night.
Wow. Yeah. Well, and I was thinking too, with the Bring a Banana, obviously that's going to have to be like the Elvis recipe.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good
So we're
idea,
going to do
too.
banoffee pie. It's an Irish style pie that uses banana and toffee. So that's actually next week's video. I mean, it'll be after this airs. But,
yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. It's so much fun, and different pairing. Also, I think it'd be fun to where you're cooking it and you can pair it with the album.
They fit well. We're trying to match that tone. We figure eventually we can grow the whole thing to where it's just a dinner theater show that tours around.
Exactly. Dinner and a show.
Exactly.
I love
what a perfect pairing.
And the fun thing too is Maggie could be playing while you're chopping.
Right.
I'm just saying, I'm
Really
full of ideas.
I just want to put a kebab on the end of her bow, and then she can bow over a fire.
Yes.
Cook it there. Yeah.
There's so many ways we can work this. You guys are so talented and so creative, but I love this album. And I know that it's available on all digital streams. So however you consume music, but also on CDs on the website.
We've got that. We also have a candle. You can tell them about
You can have the smell of the elephant in the room in your own home. We have friends at Lure Candle, and they we matched a scent to what we thought the elephant in the room would be.
It doesn't smell like an
It does
elephant.
not smell like hay and manure. It doesn't.
yeah.
It
Right.
smells really good. But
Yeah, it's kind of earthy, but yeah, we have the elephant in the room candle, and we just love the idea that somebody says, "Oh, what's that delightful scent
Right.
in your home?" You go, "It's the elephant in the room."
yeah.
That is awesome. I'm gonna have to have a candle now.
Well,
I'll tell you
all
what-
that's on our website at zachandmaggie.com.
Okay, and then also the social medias, and you got the cooking videos, the book coming. You know, you fiddling around with that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's just a lot of fun. And also, you have to help Zach so you can get one more instrument.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you don't need that many with the violins, but you know he plays all the weird instruments. Like
Exactly.
me.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
are you gonna buy next?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, another guitar is always great. It's
Just one more.
there's always one more. Right.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, you're going to be as thrilled with this music as I am. Be sure, go to their website, follow them on social media. You're going to enjoy The Elephant in the Room, listen to the entire album, watch their cooking videos, get the candle, because then you can smell the elephant in the room. You're also going to learn to do some great cooking, but go see this great couple live, Zach and Maggie. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Eric. So good to be here.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.